Hey, I'm Stephen Palermo, and today I'm going to be talking about children and dangerous playgrounds. You notice how a lot of our old favorites like the merry-go-round or the tire swing are starting to disappear? This is because playgrounds are being designed to try and be super safe and protect our children, but I'm not so sure it's working. We've done a lot of stuff to try and protect our children, and some of it works, some of it doesn't, some of it has the opposite effect, like child safety locks that can only be opened by children. See, the thing is that the parental instinct, we want to protect our children. We'll do this many ways: child leashes, those little safety scissors that don't actually cut anything, and of course wrapping the child in 5 inches of bubble wrap. But this may actually be aggravating the issue. You see, it's my experience that children will actively seek danger. If they can find, a moderated danger like a tire swing or something, they'll settle for that. But if you try and make something completely safe, they will find the most dangerous possible use for it, as seen in the images below. Now, you gotta ask, why are they doing this? And the answer is quite simple. As this great philosopher said, children are brain damaged. So, what are you going to do if they're actively sabotaging everything you're doing? Well, you need to consider something. That if children are brain damaged, you also need to remember the counterfact that parents are crazy. Now, parents may be driven crazy by the brain damage of the children, but, there's something to be said there still. So, I think it's a lot of matter in how parents think children should be acting, how they try and prevent things. An example that really only applies to boys is that moms will take away all the guns, or not let them have guns, because they're thinking if they can't play war, then they won't like war. They won't have that violence in their lives. But the problem is that a boy, and you'll know this if you have any boys, is that any stick in the woods becomes a weapon. Sticks equal guns. So we're kind of doing it wrong. We can't just take away all the toys, because the problem is danger is kind of fun. So, how do you keep that fun and still make a safe environment? And for the longest time we've been doing it wrong, and there's been a lot of casualties. A lot of our favorite childhood haunts have been replaced with plushy, super safe, lawsuit-resistant playgrounds that aren't necessarily making things any better. They're just making kids have to look harder to find that rush. So, one of the first one that's taking a hit is the merry-go-round. These were awesome. These were the way that, you got them up to speed, and this is how you could feel like you were riding a jet or a spaceship. But, you got it up to speed, you could bang your head as you fell off, and, if you jumped, escape velocity on this thing was measured in miles per hour. The isometric dome. You had this thing, it was an energy shield, it was a prison, it was a spider web. But if you climbed up on it and fell off of it, you'd bang your head and stuff. But, it was just a nice jungle gym, and if someone was watching, it wasn't that dangerous. But still, it's been removed. And then you have the tire swing. This last staple that was holding on, the last thing that could give us that G-force rush that we used to get from the merry-go-round. Even this is starting to disappear off playgrounds now. And, all of these things are disappearing. You even have mulch. Mulch is disappearing off the playground. Wait, I don't like mulch. In fact, its replacement, that soft rubbery stuff, is actually better because it's easier to run on, doesn't give splinters, and doesn't need to be replaced as much. So, here's an example of where they actually went in the right direction. And it's not the only one. This rope tower here. This is a new innovation where, except for the main column, everything's made out of ropes. So if the child does fall, they're really not hitting anything that hard. They're not going to get nearly as hard as if they fell off a jungle gym. And it's arguably better climbing. This is something where they went in the right direction. On the other hand, this is the reinvented merry-go-round. Now, it's supposed to keep children in when they're swinging around on it. But there's nothing really stopping them from clinging to the outside while it's spinning at 60 miles an hour. So, not really any safer, but you know what? I'm not going to argue if I get to see the merry-go-round come back. See, one of the issues is how children think. See, we think of building a playground as like, how much stuff can we get in that playground? Because kids like stuff, right? That's what they're looking for. But kids are actually looking for a castle, or a boat, or a spaceship. That's what they see. So there's a couple important things that we need to make sure get into our playgrounds. The loop. See, when children are racing around the playground, one of the games they love to play is, tag or something where you can't go on the ground. So if there's no loop on the playground, they can't play that because they always end up getting stuck. So you need to have a loop or a figure eight, that way they can run around it. Then you need a balcony. The balcony can act as, obviously, a balcony in a castle, but also the bridge of a ship, somewhere that the captain can observe his crew. And you also need a bridge. Something spanning an open area. Because this will let kids jump up or jump off, and it only has to be a foot off. The thing is that I don't think parents should be concerned about the design of a playground as much as they should be concerned about the safety of their child. If you get off the bench, if you're with your child, then it's going to work out better, because the fact of the matter is the only safe way, the only way you can be sure to have the most control is if you're up on the playground playing tag, chasing after your child, being with them in the game, because that's where you'll have the most control. And besides, how else are you going to justify running on that merry-go-round?